why is that lingering fear there about, will this replace most jobs? I mean, and how does one address that lingering doubt about a tech breakthrough?
Yeah, so I think the first thing to think about the new generation of AI models is that they have cognitive abilities. They are able to solve cognitive tasks. Now, if you think about the history of technology, when calculators came out, right, there were people who used to do those very cumbersome mathematical sort of calculations, which now did not need to do them by hand, but could use calculators. So, in the same way, there will be certain types of tasks and certain types of activities that these models will be able to do. And I think the right thing that we will need to do is basically figure out how should we leverage them, and then the productivity gains that we get, how do we then invest those productivity gains towards solving newer problems. So, if there are people, if we have more time now because we are more productive and we have access to these tools, the thing that society needs to ask itself is to how do we take on that extra amount of productivity that we have, and where should we focus it?
Okay,
and the answer that I would like that I would propose is basically there are so many challenges that we are facing. In fact, we should be thinking about using any sort of our brain power that we can get towards those things.
I would probably see this that the era of generalists may be over and the era of experts may probably be dawning upon us. But let's now look at some of those specifics in terms of first and foremost life sciences and medical research, simply because of the impact on humanity may be just so intense and life changing. How do you see that? You've also done a lot of work in that area, whether it is about pandemics or whether it's about cures or prevention. How do you see what has been achieved so far? And if we can do some sort of a crystal ball gazing as to what are we really looking at in terms of outcomes for the future?
Yeah, so I think biology is going to be an area which is going to be transformed by AI. And I'm not a biologist by training, I'm a computer scientist, but my first experience of working on a biology problem came 7 years back when we started working on the protein structure prediction problem. So proteins are essentially the building blocks of life. They are essentially the Lego pieces that make you and me. And yet scientists do not know what is the shape of these proteins, even though they are crucial in our understanding of how the human body works, how life works, how diseases can be treated, and so on. What we tried to do with AI was we tried to solve that problem, and our solution, the AlphaFold 2 system, was considered the breakthrough system for and a solution of this problem, and has recently won the Nobel Prize for that work.
Yes.
What it allowed scientists to do now is basically make predictions about these structures, just unlocking and uncovering the vast space of biology and giving sort of people much more agency in terms of accelerating drug discovery, developing sort of better vaccines, sort of even supercharging sort of work on developing enzymes that can fight things like plastic pollution. So that is just one area of understanding the structure of proteins, the building blocks of life. Now think about that in the context of understanding our genome. Like what happens, how are we different in different ways, what does that mean in terms of our susceptibility to certain types of diseases. So the amount of information and knowledge that can be uncovered using these techniques is just immense.